Hour with Darren, Dimples, and the Music Man. Me. Hey, Dimps.
Hey, Mr. Music Man. How
What's
you
up,
doing
buddy?
this evening?
What's going on?
How are you?
Well, good. What's up? Two ladies. This is a true story. These two ladies at a network meeting came over to me, and he said, "Your show was really good, but we missed Dimple."
I'm absolutely convinced. I'm absolutely convinced that you got some kind of brain damage when you had that thing last year.
I'm telling you, and he called, and
Not classy, but classy.
Seeing interviews by Darren and the Music Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Siafi and Norman Wasserman.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. It is Tuesday evening. It's not Wednesday, so hopefully everybody is back here and on course. We've been advertising the switch on Facebook and some of the other channels that we're on, so hope everybody is here. And what a beautiful day, right, Darren? Right. Say hello to Darren, everybody.
Hi, everybody. It turned out to be a lot better day than it started out to be.
Yeah.
It was a little overcast, a little sprinkles here and there. So I couldn't ride my motorcycle to the office today, but
got a little cloudy this afternoon.
It got a little cloudy, and it was a couple of sprinkles this afternoon too, because I was out, had a couple of clients and that. So, but overall, it turned out to be a really great day. So, how was your week?
Really busy since everything is opening up, and now Governor Cuomo made an announcement today that everything is open 100%, and I don't think it really is out here in Long Island, but we're going to find out real soon. Signed a couple of new contracts. Some of the theaters are coming back, so we got some shows lined up for the fall. And outside of that, I'm watching my puppy get a little bit bigger, and I doubt very much that this puppy is going to be a little young lady. She's going to be a grown-up woman by the time, because she is growing on leaps and bounds.
Yeah, she looked like she was growing pretty quick there.
Yeah, she is. And I don't know what she is. We're going to do a DNA test on her because I'm really not sure. I don't think she is a lab.
You don't think she's a lab?
I think she's something larger.
Well, is she a dog?
Is she what?
Is she a dog? Does it really matter what
No,
it is?
I just would like to know what she is. All right, enough of you for that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we got a great guest on here this evening. This is a young lady that has a business that every single business owner or manager or director, no matter what you do, can use her services. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Great. So you could introduce her to all your clients.
I could.
You could?
I could.
All right. So if she does a good performance tonight, what do you think? You think she'd be good? Melinda Reyes, welcome to the Business Power Hour.
Hi, thank you.
We thank you. Premier Merchant Consulting Services, better known as PMCS.
So
That's
tell
right.
us what Premium Merchant Consultant Services does, what you guys are all about, and how you go about your business.
Sure. Well, basically, I tell people we help businesses to get paid. And it's a little bit more than that. We also help them to thrive and to really increase their revenue by bringing in more people. So we consult with them. Having been in the business now for more than 13 years, I've also connecting business owners with lots of other ancillary services and people that I network with. So the consulting part really stands as a way for me to help a business with
what kind of services,
not just.
What kind of services, in addition to merchant services, does your company offer?
Well, it comes with, some of the ancillary services would be loyalty programs, gift card programs if they want to do that. And we also can offer funding, alternative funding, cash advances. And I'm trying to think, web design is also part of it, and some marketing tools.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Let's back up a second.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in this business? What did you do before you did this?
My career started in advertising. So I was always promoting something in the business, and I enjoyed advertising just for the creativity of it, being able to take a product and then try to bring it to market and tell people how great it is and why it's great to use it and how it's going to help them. But it was kind of boring, the different things that I was doing in the advertising world, and I ventured into sales. And people told me, you're good at sales. So I was doing advertising sales. I sold radio, and then I went to print. During was it 2007, when I was just noticing that the economy was going down, I knew that I needed to do a change. And that's basically what happened. I put my resume out, and I got recruited to come and work for one of the largest processing companies they're global, actually, First Data. And so that's where I started. And I really learned about the business that way. And I was in alliance with Citibank. I was able to then meet a whole bunch of entrepreneurs, business owners of all different types. And I think just that creativity and that atmosphere is what kept me really interested in what I was doing and helping the businesses.
Why was advertising boring? People hear the word advertising, you think right away it's exciting and great. Well, were you on the creative side? Were you on the management side?
I wasn't on the creative side. I was in the media buying, planning department. So it's kind of the most boring part, I think. But basically, once you have a budget, you have to figure out where are these people and how do you reach them. So if you have money to spend, the creative department will decide we're going to reach them through radio, we're going to reach them through print, we're going to reach them through magazines or television. And back then, there wasn't a lot of cable. It was just, beginning to take off. So it was really the major networks, and you would position them with either daytime television to reach women, late night and sports, different things like that. So you had to really know your demographics and know where your audience was.
Well, even back then, it was very expensive to do because it was so limited in, the advertising space as compared to today.
Exactly.
Right, where you can advertise everywhere, everything for virtually nothing.
It's amazing now, what you can do now with all the channels, right? Even what you guys are doing here. Like, I didn't know that you were able to do it on so many different channels on Facebook and Facebook groups. So It's pretty amazing, But what I said it was boring was because when I was working there, I had to work on packaged goods. So I had to promote cooking oil, dishwashing liquid. and then I got upgraded, and then I was able to do cruise lines and high-end watches and things like that. So that was but when I was doing this, I was the one that the salespeople would always come and try to schmooze with me because I was in control of the money. So a couple of them were telling me, you should be in sales. And it kind of like, well, maybe I should. And I ventured out to try it.
So how long have you been doing this now?
Premier Merchant Services, I started it, let's say, officially in 2015.
But
I've been in the business since 2008, and I was employed. And I think that's what happened. Once I learned the business and I learned that I was good at it and I enjoyed it, and then I learned that there was so many different ways to do it. You don't have to be employed by a company to be able to do this. The entrepreneurial spirit in me took over. So I ventured out to be independent.
Did you learn a lot of all your information from First Data?
I learned the majority of it, I would say, to start. But they did a great training. I would call it boot camp. Because, you were off-site for a whole week and just learning. And then after 6 months, you had to do that again for another week. A lot of people that get thrown into this business, merchant services, they keep telling me that they're learning on the fly. They don't get the kind of training that I did when I was working for First Data. So I'll give them kudos for that because they really dug in deep into what you need to learn. But there were so many things also that were happening on the operations side and different things that I didn't know about. So that's what I ventured into different areas, and then I got the grasp of the different parts of what really happens behind the scenes.
So let's for clarification purposes, right, for our small business owners and our entrepreneurs out there, because guys, this is stuff that for you.
This saves you money, makes you money.
What merchant services really entails, and you hit on a lot of the different things, is credit card processing, right? ACH processing. Let me ask you this. What's the difference between using a debit card at a terminal as compared to a credit card at a terminal?
There's less risk involved when the banks look at it because you have to have the money in there in your bank. So it's sort of like a transfer. taking the money out of your bank account and putting it into mine. So just using the plastic and using the rails of making sure that the money is there. So if you don't have the money in there, for the most part, it will get declined, or a portion of it might get approved. Credit is a little bit more risky for the banks that are giving us all those credit cards, because I could run up my limit and then I don't pay them.
Mm-hmm.
But the business owner gets paid.
Right.
So the difference in for businesses, really the difference comes down to the price because of the risk involved.
Okay, so if I'm a business owner, and I am, and I accept cards, credit cards, and I accept debit cards, right? You're telling me that if I accept a debit card, it's going to be a different price for me than a credit card, because for those of you who don't know, every time you utilize a credit card at the store or restaurant or whatever, that establishment actually gets charged a fee for you using your credit card. Correct?
That's correct.
So what you're saying then is the debit card processing, that's actually cheaper than the credit card processing. Am I correct in that assumption?
I would say yes, but we have to caveat that with the sale amount.
Okay.
Because the percentage might be less, but the transaction fee on the wholesale costs is more expensive. So if it's a $5 or $2 transaction, you might wind up on a whole a higher percentage, just because that transaction fee is higher.
Well, aren't there also multiple different charges for using a credit card? It's the type of card, like American Express. You certainly pay more than you do for certain Visa. And Visa, I used to work for First Data. I had a little side deal with them, servicing my clients.
Yeah, I remember you talked to me about that.
In the entertainment business. In fact, I still get even a residual, like teeny weeny little bit, because it was a long time ago. So tell us about the different charges, what business owners should look for, and be careful on what to take and what not to take as far as cards go.
I always say take them all. Right now, also American Express has changed their structure, so it's not as pricey as it used to be. So, they will factor in the type of business that you are, how you take the card. So if it's card present, it's less risky. And I'll say this, and I've said this before on other places where I've spoken, is it's really about the risk. So if you're face-to-face, it's going to be less risky. So once you go online, the same card might cost more. So there are different factors that make up the price. So that's one of them. And what American Express, I call it Amex, what they have done is they've actually tried to be more competitive with Visa and MasterCard to not scare off business owners to say, we don't take Amex. Yeah. The one reason that a lot of business owners don't want to take Amex is not only just the price, but they really help the card holder, right? If you have your black Amex, you get the support. So it's a higher end kind of card, and maybe the higher level of income for the average income. People who are using the American Express cards, so they will get those perks. And I think that's also, just to answer that question, what you just said is it's also the perks. So if it's a debit card, you usually don't get any perks, right? You just get money transferred. Right. You go to another kind of card where you're going to get rewards and points, then they will give a little higher cost to those, and then you go up on that range.
I personally do that. I have credit cards where I get either cash back or I get points, and I actually try to use them on almost everything I can use them on.
I do too.
because of that reason, right? Yeah. Where I use my debit card, they're just taking money out of my bank account. I'm really not getting any benefit from it. So I would do the same. Right. I would rather just pay a credit card bill and do it that way. I think that's for me, it's a better way to go. It may not be for others.
What's with this Ladders card? I keep on getting emails about the Ladders card. It seems to be sort of like the black card of like American Express, but it's called Ladders. If you're not familiar with it, just look up ladders.com.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
You don't have to do it.
I guess you have a higher household income than I do, because nobody's offering me that card.
Because he has a yacht and a mansion.
But speaking of,
Yeah, you're on a higher level than I am.
let's check out this email that we got with Darren's horses. I don't know if anybody can see this.
Wait a second. Let's see. I'll try
I
to
mean,
pull it.
now
I'll try to
this
pull
had
it up.
nothing to do with me.
I'll try to pull it up. But this is
Well,
our friend
somebody
Chris.
sent this in to us.
Is this our friend Chris?
It could be.
It could be. But let's continue on with Melinda, and let's do this. We'll get back
Darren
to
just
that in a
moved. He
second.
just sold his house for approximately 25% more than his asking price was, and he bought this on the water on the South Shore, and this way a place to put his boat. This huge house.
You got to buy the house so you know where to put your boat. That's awesome.
Yeah. And his horses. He sold the horses though.
Well, Melinda, my friend here exaggerates tremendously.
Well, when you put that up, you won't see that I'm exaggerating.
You know, I didn't get that email. I didn't get that either.
Yeah, well, I got it. Here it is. I didn't make it up.
I didn't get that. He didn't send it to me. So
Yeah, well,
when did he send it? Just now.
just now. I
So
just got
Chris,
it
you got to
just now.
send it to me so I can show everybody.
So we can put it up there.
So we can put it up there.
Do you have any people that are working for you? Do you have a staff?
Yeah, I tried a few times to get some people to come on board and they didn't last. It's not easy what I do, and I think I didn't really think that, to be honest, I thought for me, it's sort of so easy. What's the problem? But for some people, it's really hard to grasp. And so I guess that's kind of what happened. Not only that, it's a commission type of business. So if you don't have a salary at this stage, I'm kind of still a one-woman show. So I don't have a lot to say. I'm going to bring in a lot of people and pay them, have a big payroll. So when I bring people in, I want to train them and I want them to build, because it's sort of like, residual. So if you do this, you can, like you were saying, you're still getting something. There are lifetime residuals. So of course, that's the goal, to be able to build your residuals. So I'm trying to train people, but not many of them have lasted to continue with me.
So Melinda, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, you have the information there. The QR code, if you're on this and you can scan it, go for it, because you can add me to your contacts easily that way. And my email is there, mreyes@pmcsnyc. And of course, a call or a text, that 888 number. You can reach me there through WhatsApp, and you can text me or call me.
When you were a young lady, back in your school days.
Only a few years ago.
Exactly. What did you really think about doing when you got older? I'm sure it wasn't advertising, and
it wasn't.
Wasn't merchant services. I got to tell you, merchant services is tough. It is real tough. You got a tremendous amount of competition. If you walk into a retail store, of course they wind up telling you, "I can't talk to you now. I got customers." You got to make an appointment and come back. It's a tough business. So what were you really thinking about doing when you were younger?
My dream was to be an actress. And I'll be honest, the reason was because I wanted to have all the leading men around me and be able to make out with them. That was the reason why.
That's an honest answer. That's a real honest answer. So did you venture in? Did you actually start acting or doing things through school?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, I'll share a little bit about what's going on now in my life with my son. But I went to middle school, and there I took drama, and there my drama teacher was awesome, and she put me in a leading role. And I started to feel that stardom, right? The fame. They had
what show
around the school with my name on it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can remember I'm blanking out, unfortunately, but it's a famous movie, and it's about the woman who's an invalid, and she can't move, and her husband's planning to kill her. Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
No, I was the invalid, and my drama teacher, she was really nice because she didn't want me to hurt my vocal cords. She had somebody else be my stand-in for the scream, because there was a lot of screaming in the so it was a drama. And my husband will tell you that I should really be in acting, because he says I'm a drama, I'm really dramatic. So I enjoyed the Carol Burnett show. I enjoyed comedy. I wanted to, and I tried to get into the performing arts high school, and I got rejected when I first tried. And I didn't have anybody mentoring me. I didn't have anybody teaching me. I never took a class. I just wanted to do it. So I tried to go on my own talent, and I got rejected. So that really turned me down, it kind of put a scar on me, and I didn't pursue it again, even though they said, come again for 10th grade and you can try. So what's happening now is that I've been acting in a small church group, and they've been doing shows every fall, and I've already performed in 2. And they're gonna skip this last year because of the pandemic, but I'm gonna go for it again. So I'll definitely invite you.
I got a great news for you if you still want to do it. I have a client that is theater, and they're always looking for actresses. And I have a very good relationship with them. And they're located in Lindenhurst as well as in East Islip. And we'll talk more about that later on.
That'd be fun. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to be my career, but it didn't pan out that way. But at least I'm doing it now just for myself, for fun, to have that fulfillment, and I could call myself a quote unquote actress.
So you got all these handsome men all around you now?
Just my husband and my kid, yeah.
Well, you got 2 of them tonight done on the show. Look at his dimples. Does he not have
you guys, of course, yeah. All the people that I network with, yeah. Absolutely. I'm not making out with all of them, all right? I will tell you.
They are.
I think I made up more with my dog than I do with my husband.
We're getting way off the rails here. We're getting way off the rails.
Let's bring it back in.
Wow. So getting back to what we were talking about before, this coming Friday, we're gonna have a special show, and we're gonna have my horses, and a special guest is the cowboy hat.
Who's the cowboy hat?
I have no idea.
Wow.
Chris Gannon put that together. We really thank Chris for doing it.
I think Chris is whacked.
He's having fun.
The cowboy hat?
But yeah, so
all right. The cowboy hat. You got
maybe he's the cowboy hat.
The talking cowboy hat.
The talking cowboy hat.
Okay.
Maybe
he probably needs merchant services, this guy.
Well,
anybody that wants to get paid, I can help them.
So let me ask you this, right? So do you have affiliate programs? So I'm an accountant, all right? And if I have clients that need your services, is there an affiliate program that if we partner up, we can share in those revenues?
Absolutely. I'm looking for those things because I'm not getting any younger, and like Norman was saying, it's difficult. It's difficult. It's a competitive field. So coming in credibly through somebody that is also working with the business that they trust and that's dealing with money, because you're talking about business owners' money, so you need to be trustworthy. So
it comes down to
a referral is excellent,
right? So in my experience with merchant services is it's always about the price. How much money is it going to cost me to process? Because you're processing payments for me, so as a business owner I want to minimize my expenses when it comes to that. But it's a 2-factor thing. It's not only the expenses but the ease and how fast you get the money, because there are some processors that will process the money today and you'll have it tomorrow, and then there's some where they'll process it today and you won't have it for 3 days.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You never go and do that. And it's very hot today, Melinda. You and I spoke about this yesterday. Is the online processing. I don't swipe cards.
Mm-hmm.
I process everything. So there's a difference too. When you swipe, you pay more than when it's online. Is that correct, or is it the other way around?
It's the other way around.
Okay. So it is different. There are so many different charges in merchant services. The trust factor in hiring someone like yourself is huge, because once you got them and they're satisfied, you're going to get everybody that they know. It's based upon the percentages, but it's also the services, like you said earlier. What kind of services do you offer? Can you tell us some of what these services are? What do you offer that maybe somebody else doesn't do? Is there anything?
Oh, sure. The reason why I'm doing this independently, and I call myself a consulting services and a business consultant, is because I will help them to find the right processor. I am a broker agent,
Oh,
independent.
okay, that's interesting.
So that already differentiates me. I don't work for one person. I'm not employed by that person. So I'm going to always cater to what the business owner needs. And they come first because they're my client. So that's one thing that differentiates me. A lot of people they always ask me, just like you said, Darren, what's your rate? That's like the number one question, right? But I really want to tell them, and this is why I'm glad that I'm able to talk here, is just the rate right now. There are so many different ways to price, and there's so much flexibility now that we can even waive it all. And I'll share how that works. And I'm sure you've probably seen it. But so let's not talk about the rate at this moment. Let's talk really, what do you need? The technology now is advancing so quickly and changing so much that's really where I want to talk. I want to talk to you about, what do you need? What are you doing now? Do you need to be out and about, mobile? Are you going to be in your office on your computer? Are you doing retail, face-to-face type of business, and you might want a point of sale? And then there you have like a ton to choose from. So then we'll talk about the details there. Are you a over-the-counter type of restaurant? Are you a sit-down type of restaurant? Do you need to take reservations? Or you just come on in? And now with COVID, it became, are people able to buy your food online?
So let me ask you, are there certain processing companies that are better for the restaurant business as opposed to, say, somebody like myself?
I would say that, if you're looking for a point of sale system to manage your restaurant, you want the software and a reliable hardware. So there are some that I would say, yes, they're more leaning towards being specialists in the restaurant business. And then we'll talk about now with CBD and now marijuana coming in and kratom. It's becoming now, if you want to do something that's high risk, you really got to stay away from certain processors. They will not work with you. So you have to know who you're dealing with. And so I've had a couple of situations where a person might not do the deal with me, but then they come back to me later because they got canceled. Right. And then they're like, I really need help. And they didn't realize that they needed this help.
So Melinda, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, I want to get into those high risk areas that you alluded to just a second ago, new ones that are coming in, but other ones that have been around for a while. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back right after these messages.
Stay tuned.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me and asked me what the time that was on my way. And I said, yes.
Pachera aquata, also known as the money tree, is a tree that flourishes in the tropical rainforest. Unlike other trees, it depends on 5 separate trunks to prosper, each one bringing its own share of water and nutrients to the leaves. Like the money tree, your business has many different trunks that need your attention. Sales, marketing, finance, operations, and culture. Fail to cultivate any one of these and the whole tree collapses. I understand this better than anyone else, which is why I developed My Prosperity Tree, a program designed to address all of these areas, not just one or two. We help you identify who you are as a company, define your direction, and assist with developing the systems that will enable you to scale your business the most efficient and effective way, allowing your company to bloom into your own prosperity tree. So plant your tree today by visiting myprosperitytree.com or call us at 844-987-CBMS. That's 844-987-2267.
Okay, welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, and we have the lovely Melinda Reyes, Merchant Services Queen, Business Queen, the leader in Merchant Services. Question for you. You go into an Applebee's, something like that. You go, you can order your food on the POS system. You get your check on the POS system. Outside of the fact that the waiter or waitress bring you your food, you don't need anybody. Do you get involved in those services as well for restaurants and other services like that? Retail?
Yeah. Right now, with everything going digital, it's I even ordered from Applebee's. Now that you mentioned this, we were waiting on a line outside and they didn't let you go inside and it was cold. So you're waiting outside in the cold. And I was like, forget it. Let's just get the app. And I ordered on the app and I went in and I picked it up and we left and we ate at home.
They should bring it to your car.
What's that?
They bring it to your car if you ask them to.
Yeah, but I was planning to eat there. Like, right. I was really planning to originally, but with everything, I didn't realize how inconvenient it would be because of COVID and the restrictions on how many people could sit in the restaurant. So I just said, forget this. So that's what I tell my, my prospects and my clients, that they really should have the ability now to also have online ordering. And that really kicked off. I mean, I always telling people to do it, but it really started to kick off because it became a necessity for restaurants when they had to shut down their in-person dining.
So let me ask you this, Melinda. If somebody is starting a business, right, and okay, I'm going to start a retail store, I'm going to need processing. One of the things that you talked about before the break was these high-risk things.
Industries.
Right, high-risk industries. That being CBD and now marijuana. What other industries are considered high risk?
Anything that has a high ticket. So it could be a car, auto, dealership, and a furniture store. So you're talking about retail. These are the ones that, and also travel, touring. Anything where you have to put the money out now, but you don't get the goods till much later. Because that's a big chunk of time between the time that I paid you and then the time that you're going to deliver the goods, and I could change my mind and I could dispute it and I could fight it. And if you don't have a really good refund policy or cancellation policy in place that I've signed, the business owner can lose their money just by somebody disputing the transaction.
So basically what you're saying is that those things that are typically disputed more than the normal transaction are considered high risk. And therefore, well, what are the constraints on being a high risk? Why, what could happen? If I'm a business owner and I come to you, I'm starting a new business, it's considered high risk. Well, what are the things that you're looking at in order to say you qualify or you don't qualify to be in this program?
I would say if you're a startup, you're already at a high risk. So because you're not established. So the people who are reviewing the application, we call them the underwriters, right? They're the ones that I have to be like the lawyer and bring my case to court. So I try to get as much information from the business owner when we're applying, so that when I bring the case to the court, it will be approved, because that's what you want. You want to get your account approved so that you could be in business and take credit cards. So if we'll look at your credit score, they look at how long has the business, and they'll look at the type of business.
So that's one thing that I wanted to ask, right? So yeah, you said it. From emergent services, what is the liability on the business owner? You said you're going to look at my personal credit score in order for me to be able to accept credit cards. So if I have a very low credit score, is there a chance that I won't get approved? Mm-hmm. Or is there a chance I'll be just charged more money?
It could happen both ways, right? That's why I'm saying if you're dealing with somebody who has experience, like what I do at Premier Merchant Consulting Services, we're going to talk about those things, right? If they're open to it, right? Let me know that you have a bad credit. So then I'm going to ask for some more information to try to bring your case to the court to get approved. So things like, let's see, if you've been in, depending on what you're looking to do, like if you're new technology and you want to get a whole POS system, you're going to probably have to buy it, mm-hmm, as opposed to doing a lease. So if you purchase it, then that would eliminate that obstacle. The other one would be you might have to delay the funding. And they might also say we might hold a little bit of money in reserve. And that has happened. And particularly for CBD and any online types of businesses like that, it's kind of common to say we're going to take between 15 to 20% and we're going to have a reserve of the money that's coming in. And unfortunately, that means, they're not seeing their money in their bank, like you were talking, Norm, every day.
So if I had bad credit
for a little while.
Right. So if I had bad credit and you said, hey, you know what? Because of your situation, we're going to give you an opportunity to still collect credit cards, but we're going to put into a reserve 10 to 15% of what your normal sales are in order to mitigate against any credit card fraud or anything like that. And that's, I'm assuming that's why they do it, right? Because there are people who will fraudulently charge somebody's card when it comes in. And that's why, you'll see this all the time. And sometimes you see it with clients. I have a client that only processes the credit cards that come into the store. And then every once in a while, he'll get somebody who disputes it. Meanwhile, the transaction happened at the register. They got, he could prove it by a camera. The guy swiped it, and then he'll walk out and say, oh, no, I never did that.
Exactly.
And that's unfortunate that you have to go through that. But some people are like that, where they're just going to try to beat you out of the money no matter what. And the credit card companies are, and correct me if I'm wrong, the credit card companies are more on the side of the consumer than they are of the business owner.
Yes.
It does seem that way. Yeah. And
PayPal is no.
But I always try to tell, I try to tell my clients to, if they, the fraud happens face to face. So be vigilant. If you see somebody who won't look in your eyes, when they're there, like if they look a little suspicious, just be vigilant, get a copy of their ID. I would do it if it was me. And verify the signature, I would do it if that was me. And
if somebody asked me for
that
my
receipt.
ID, if somebody asked me for my ID when I went into the store, depending on what it is that I'm purchasing, I would probably walk out.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that's fine, because to me, I look at it like this. That's fine. I'd rather lose the sale than actually you walk out of the store with the product. But
if you make it a constant habit to ask everybody or every other person because they may look schleppy, it's gonna hurt you sooner or later.
It may hurt you, but at the same time, it may become counterproductive.
Yeah, if you think about high-end jewelry stores, and think about electronics. Everybody that's selling the iPhones and things like that. I have a few of those kind of clients on my portfolio, and it goes both ways. People will now do reviews and say bad things about the business, and those get back to the merchant processor. They'll check out what's being said on your Google reviews. So
it's not like it used to be, where you had to go to the Better Business Bureau in order to file a complaint. It's
everything now.
Sometimes people just, you know what, I was in a bad mood, so I'm going to take it out on this person. So Melinda, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
Oh, please reach out to me if you can scan the code. This is a simple, easy way for you to add me to your contacts, and you'll be able to see my Facebook page and my LinkedIn profile. Or you can call me or text me or WhatsApp me through my 888 number. That's 888-845-8194. And there's my website and my email, mreyes@pmcsnyc.com.
Melinda, you had mentioned something just a second ago about portfolio. Tell us about the different industries, different types of businesses that you'll have in your portfolio. There could be people out there that are in the restaurant business, or have a dry cleaner or a liquor store or whatever it may be, that may be looking and may be interested to checking their prices. That's something that your clients don't do. Unless there's a problem, they don't check and make it to see what the industry rate happens to be, and they leave it alone. And they don't check it, where you can come in and do an analysis and say, hey, I can save you X number of dollars, and we're state of the art, and we do this, we do that, and they're not. I still go to a dry cleaner that has one of the little punch-in, they used to get for free. Remember, we used to give them away when you signed somebody up. That was the inducement, instead of charging them $200 or $250 for the machine.
Right.
We used to give it to them, and that would.
We still do. I do a lot of free placements for a regular terminal. Yeah. Now we have regular terminals. They're like the flip phones of the world, right? And then we go up to the smart terminals, which are like mobile POSs, and they're all touch screen. And then we do upgrades to the small tablets, and then we have the full big screen monitor computers that you can use, and everything on the cloud, so you can actually manage your business. And that's what I really talk about. So when you're asking about the portfolio, it runs the gamut of anybody that's a mom and pop. I work with mobile food trucks. I'm going to go down and then up with mobile food trucks that, they just need something simple, or people who are out and about and they want to use their phone. So we're able to get their phone to be their credit card machine. You can get a Bluetooth reader, and you don't need to print receipts. You just email them or text message them to your customers. You can use your computer. So there are, like, for example, a tour or travel company who have multiple people. I would say the virtual terminal is one of the best solutions, just over the phone. You're talking to your customers, or they come in, right, and then they want to take the credit card. Just have everybody have a login, and that person will then be able to log in and take the credit card payment. The customer gets the email receipt, and the owner tracks everybody. How many sales did everybody make? You get like a ton of reports. So you got a lot of data analytics when you're doing this. So it helps the business to stay on top of, what's happening. Trying to think, well, of course, restaurants,
a lot of the information that you're providing or you're collecting actually enhances their marketing abilities, their advertising abilities, their trending, so they know what products to buy, what's selling, what's not selling, all of that stuff.
And if they need inventory management, then we're going to talk about a different type of software. So they may want a retail POS. I have a religious goods store that uses one, and we're switching them over to another retail POS. Restaurants that are either big over the counter or have fine dining where they need table management and order and pay at the table options. So we'll talk about that. I'm trying to think who else. Hair salons is a big one for me, and nail salons. People want to go there and they want rewards, right? They want to be able to come in a bunch of times and then maybe get a perk and a reward so they can keep coming back. And what the business owner wants is to be able to have repeat business. So we give them the tools to be able to do that, a whole rewards program that will give them the ability to offer somebody something for coming again and again.
So what's the most how do I want to word this? What's the most surprising industry, and what I mean by surprising to you, that has contacted you about utilizing your services? Something you got out of left field that you never thought this industry existed or you would ever want to do business with?
I can't think of any, because I want to do business with everybody, but let me think. I mean, anything that's illegal, I think I've had people kind of do fraud to me, a catering person when I was a babe in the business. I realized then after that, that if they don't look you in the eye and they don't ask you what's your rate, and they're so eager to sign, that they're probably, doing something fraudulent, right. And that's what happened. So I did have a couple of people come to me, and one person, I'll be honest, there was one person, they were so smart that they saw a physical therapist website and they pretended to be that person. So they sent me to the website. I looked at the website. They gave me an email that was similar but different, and somehow they were able to open up a bank account with a name and open up a bank account. And when the real person got the credit card, welcome email or welcome letter, then they called and said, I never did this. And so we found that it was a fraud. And they had already taken about 40 to 50 credit card transactions. And we were able to find out that it was, they were using similar numbers, so they probably stole those credit cards.
In 2019, forget 2020, because I had no business, as a lot of people, or most people. In 2019, I would sell somebody a ticket. I would be paid for it on with a credit card, and then they would call the credit card company after the show and say that they didn't go to the show, and the show this, the show that, whatever, and they're sitting.
Right.
You know, I keep an inventory of everyone that comes to the show. I know who they are and I know where they're sitting. And it happened more times than none. And
Wow.
the credit card companies are aware of it, but yet, like we discussed earlier, credit card companies take the customer's point of view versus the businesses. And then you got to go and prove that they were sitting there. You know,
Right. How do you do that? Yeah. So that would be another high risk thing. You know, you buy the ticket early in advance and then you don't go to the show till.
Yeah, but I look at it like this. You bought the ticket. If you didn't show up, that's on
that's
you.
That's on you.
It's on you. I
You're gonna
agree.
reserve that seat for you.
If
right?
you have a refund policy, like
Yeah, and it's on the flyers and it's on my advertising.
then you would need somebody to really advocate for you. And those are the kind of things also that we do here at Premier Merchant Consulting Services. We will advocate. So if there's a way to fight that, then we try to do that. You know,
So
we want to help the business owners.
So what you're saying, Melinda, is that if Norm had this problem and he went to you and said, Melinda, you're processing all my credit card transactions. This is happening more times than not. How do we fight this? And you would advocate for him going to the companies to help him, you know, because a lot of times we contact these companies and it's very confusing for us as business owners to go through all the things, the gyrations that they want you to go through in order to prove you're right instead of the consumer being right, right? I equate it to New York State Department of Labor. The employee is always right. It's up to the employer to prove them wrong. So it's like the same type of situation. It's the consumer is always right. It's up to the retailer to prove the consumer wrong, which isn't, to me, it isn't.
I know.
Right. You know, it isn't
I know.
fair.
I know, but you know what? I was a consumer and I put a dispute in because and I'll say this, it was a little embarrassing, but you know those people on Fifth Avenue where they're saying, come here, we got these, you know, magic potions for you that'll eliminate all your wrinkles and things like that. And they lure you in. And there were so many stories online about victims like myself. And I printed out like a big package like this, and I sent it with my dispute to Chase. And I thought Chase was a friend of mine, right? But they said that I signed something, and I said, but you don't understand. The guy told me that I could bring these things back, and even if they were empty, I would get my money back. But I brought them back full. I changed my mind because he made me spend like over $3,000 because he was like, you know, it's crazy, yeah, Norman. You know, so I mean, I understand, but I lost that dispute, and I was the consumer.
Oh, that's
so
terrible.
I learned a lesson there, and I also bring that back to my business clients, right? I tell them, look, have it in writing, have the person sign it, say there's no cancellation fee, and make sure they sign it. And I thought I was smart because I think they used my card that had a chip, but they swiped it. And I thought, oh, I'm good. You didn't use my chip card. I can dispute this. You guys are the liability falls on you, business, not me, the consumer. And I was wrong. Chase did this, and they told me, no, I'm sorry. Even after you could see there's tons and tons of complaints online about this business doing this to so many other people, you know, older women, you know, myself and other whole bunch of complaining. And, you know, I won't say what it is.
Chase is I would think Chase is more the exception than it is the rule, right?
And Chase has helped me in the past because they would text me, oh, are you the person that really purchased this? And I was in California, you know, like they protected me. So I thought they would do what they would. I was really thought that I was protected, you know, as the consumer on that one, but I was wrong.
I'm seeing that.
So it's a lesson. It's a lesson.
I'm seeing that more on my credit cards, is that when something out of the ordinary is charged to my card, I immediately get a text message saying,
right,
did you charge this? Is this fraud, or will you let it go? A lot of times, and not a lot, but this happens every once in a while, but if they think it's fraud, they immediately stop the transaction. So it's almost embarrassing for me because the transaction didn't go through. I then have to contact the person and say, rerun it. and
Right.
because they thought it was fraud.
Amazon, I get messages from Amazon saying, we just want to confirm your purchase of $972.42 for this 55-inch TV
Yeah,
set in Alabama.
Yeah, but that's not coming from Amazon. If you look at the
No,
email address, it's coming from somebody
Get
else.
it, but it's exactly, it looks exactly.
And they were trying to get you, right? It was a fraud.
They want you to
It was
click
a
on a
scam.
link so you can put your Amazon
Gotta
login
be
information.
smart.
And they want you to log in. Yeah, I got one.
But
When I actually called my husband, I said, "Did you buy something again that I didn't, that I didn't agree to?"
Microsoft does that too.
But
Microsoft,
that's a lesson for our viewers, right? If you ever get an
Right.
email like that, look at the email address it's coming from, because it won't come from the company email address.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll come from some weird email address
Yeah.
that looks nothing like Amazon.com.
but it'll look like an Amazon invoice.
Right.
It'll look
no.
exactly like it.
That's a whole other program for you guys on how, we go through training. I go through training on how to prevent fraud, how to, I get people's social security numbers all the time. So I have to be also very vigilant with my paperwork and my documents. So we have to go through compliance trainings on all these types of data. And of course, spams and things like that, because we want to be careful with people's personal information. So yeah, there's a whole other program. You could probably help and educate people who are not aware how to check and really dig deep when they get an email.
Right, and that's the thing. A lot of people do, and immediately they'll click on a link, and what they're doing is, as soon as you click on a link, it goes to a page you think is the Amazon login page.
Yep.
And you put in your user information and your
Then you're
password.
screwed.
They're stealing your login information.
Exactly.
Now they're going to go into your account and do whatever they can with
You have
it.
to be very, yeah.
You do seminars like that? Do you give instruction on security?
I do it for my clients because I have a few of them that really depend on me for different things. And so I have an elderly gentleman and he's constantly telling me.
One-on-one. That's
I
an
do
idea,
that.
That's an idea for you to put out there. And or you can do it on Zoom and put it out there and then have it. And you never know. You can probably pick up a couple.
Have you guys started on Clubhouse? Because I was thinking I really need to do Clubhouse. I think weekly show or something.
Clubhouse. I'm just looking
at and then I can invite people similar to what you're doing too. Just people that are doing what I'm doing is similar talks, but it's all not on video, so you don't have to worry about your hair and makeup and things. And so I'm thinking that might be suitable for me.
Well, we'll save on the hair and makeup budget for Norm and I.
I'm beyond makeup and whatever. I can't say.
So Melinda, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
Oh, please, you can scan the QR code and add me to your contacts easily. You can text me or call me at 888-845-8194. That is also my WhatsApp number, or email me mreyes@pmcsnyc.com. And I do have a way that you can actually upload statements if you do want an analysis on my website. And we are offering like a $500 challenge. That means if I cannot save you money on your credit card fees, we're going to give you $500.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So take me up on it because I'm really serious about it. I could, being experienced on all of this and some of the things that I shared with you, there's so much flexibility now on how we price things. So if somebody hasn't had a review and an audit in a long time, I can almost guarantee that they're paying more than they should, because the prices also they creep up. They creep up and they don't really realize it.
How often should a business owner audit his credit card transactions?
I would say I wouldn't say at least a year. Yeah, just to stay on top of it. Yeah.
And that's something that you would do for them.
Oh, sure. Sure. Like something that Norman had asked, right? What impacts your prices? We have to know, are you a face-to-face type of business or are you not? And what type of business you are, because that's also another factor. So for an example, a nonprofit priced at retail rates, their wholesale costs, their interchange rates are going to be higher for retail than it is for a nonprofit. So I will analyze that and discuss that and really uncover, do you qualify for a lower interchange rate? And that means the wholesale price.
Okay, now
And they might not know that, and then I can look at that for them and I can help them.
the term that you just mentioned, I will guarantee that 90% plus of the people listening in have no idea what an interchange rate happens to be and who establishes those interchange rates. Would you like to explain?
Sure. It's established by the Visa and MasterCard and the banks. And it's a whole list, and it does get updated twice a year. So we have fall and spring release. Some credit cards actually get omitted and deleted, so you won't see them anymore. Some new credit cards might come into play, and their rates might go up and their rates might go down. And how it's broken down is type of card, and they give them all kinds of names, right? It could be retail, it could be gas, it could be the debit, regulated debit, and then another type of debit. And you got, if you're using a PIN debit, that means putting the PIN number in. So all of these rates are on this interchange schedule. When somebody takes a credit card using the credit card machine, somehow, and it's magical because I really don't know how that happens, it knows which card it is. And then there's a rate attached to it. But also it knows what type of business. So the code that I put for the type of business is important, because an interchange schedule for a retail business is different than an interchange schedule for a nonprofit. It might be different also for a grocery store and a restaurant and a business that's only taking sales online. So that's why you need somebody who knows what they're talking about and has the experience to really be able to find the best rates for you.
And obviously, Melinda, you're that person. Melinda, the hour is up.
Wow, that was fun though.
And you got
by.
And you got plenty more to talk about. We know that.
Sure.
So
You bring me on the questions. I was ready.
They could call you. And again, what is the phone number that they're going to reach you on?
You can reach me by phone, by WhatsApp, by text at 888-845-8194. If you're watching this and you can scan the code, this is an easy way for you to add me to your contacts. And we also offer QR codes for businesses. So please let's talk about that as well. There's so many things, like you said, Norman, that I could talk about. Come to my website and reach out to me that way too. There's a form on there, or you can email me.
All right. Melinda, thanks for being here.
Great job, and your makeup looks great.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Your makeup.
Just hang out a minute, Norm and I.
Yeah. I'd love to be like the star that gets the hair makeup done for her, but I'm not at that level yet.
It's coming. It's coming soon.
Neither are we. All right. So hang around, Melinda. We're going to say goodnight to everybody, and then we'll be back with you. All right. What a great show.
Yeah.
She was a great guest.
And it's something that is needed by everybody.
Yep. Absolutely.
And even though people have it,
every business in this day and age, there are no cash businesses anymore,
not
right? So
I don't walk around with cash at all. Debit card,
right? There are so many businesses that used to be only strictly cash. You can't do that in this day and age. So Melinda is the person to reach out to.
Yep.
So again, we want to thank Melinda for being on. Next week.
About it.
Next Tuesday, we're going to be back here at 7 p.m. We have
a very well-known real estate agent, very special real estate agent that's coming on. But before we say goodnight to everybody, I just want to mention something that's happened this week with me, which is really good. I want to give a shout out to Studio Theater on Long Island. They have two locations, Lindenhurst and also East Islip. They used to be called the Broad Hollow Theater, the Bay Arts Theater. And
they've been on the show. If you guys have, they have been on the show.
Except those people, I'm sorry to say, had to give up their business due to COVID. Mm-hmm. And there are three gentlemen that have bought the place. They have remodeled it. It looks absolutely beautiful. They've put up a Rick's American Cafe, which is like a cappuccino bar and wine and beer. They decorate it. There's a piano inside there. And they do theatrical performances, except for the fact that Friend Entertainment USA will be going back there as we did for Broad Hollow. And we have some shows coming up for the fall, which is going to be the Supremes with the three girls off of Dream Girls off of Broadway. Those are going to be the lead. It's going to be a really exciting show. And then the following day, we got the Beach Boys, which will be a nice show. That's October 9th and October 10th. I'm not expecting you to remember it, but we will keep you informed. But the point would like to make, their grand opening is July 9th. And they have Catch Me If You Can off of Broadway. That's going to be in the theater. So you can give them a call. It's the Studio Theater on Long Island. And tell them Norman sent you. That's what I want to do.
All right. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We will see you guys next Tuesday right here, 7 p.m. on the Business Power Hour.
Good night, everybody.
Good
See
night,
you next
everybody.
week.